going to continue now with building the circuit that we designed on this Arduino Shield breadboard. Before you go and attach these two, watch this entire video. Okay. If you put it on there, you could damage it, and just pulling it off, you can too. You got to do it carefully. So I'm going to show you the best way I think to do it. As far as putting them together, just make sure that they're oriented properly. If you look at the board outline, usually they're the same, so you can kind of see how these edges run parallel to one another. And yeah, so I start by holding them and getting all of the pins in like this. Now you're going to start it with the back of this back pin should be in this very back one. And sorry, my fingers are dirty from using some black gasket sealer, so I couldn't get it all off, and I apologize. That's what that's from. Anyway, you're going to just kind of start to push those in a little, but then you're going to concentrate on this top row up here, and you're going to want to get those pins so that you can see that they're going to go in. Okay, but don't snap it together yet. I want you to do it by pinching right here to push these in. That way you're pushing on the tops of the pins, so you're not putting undue stress on them. If you were to press elsewhere, then you can come over here and you can do the same thing. Okay. And then for getting them apart, you want to do it very controlled. You do not want to grab and pull apart, because if that were to happen, you could end up pulling one end out, and then if it pulls out a little here, you might end up pulling with too much force because you can't react quick enough, and then it bends these pins up here. So the way I would like to do it is just by like putting my fingers up in here even, and you can just then push them towards one another. That'll create a little bit of a lever, using basically your fingers as levers to move these boards apart. And I just put a little there. You can go over here and you can even do the same thing, but you want it to be controlled. Once you get them out a little bit, you can do it like this, where I'm pushing my thumbs together and pushing in. Okay. And there. It might seem kind of trivial, but it is important. All right, so let's get building the circuit here. We'll put it together and build. Okay, and all the pins are in. All right, so now let's get going. First thing we'll start with, we'll go with the transistor to start with. So this is the 39. Well, it's one of the 4 transistors in your bag, and it's either the 3904 or 2N2222. I'm not sure which one is in the bag with your remote jammer parts, but whichever one's in the bag, just use it. All right, so we're going to take our transistor, pay attention to the flat, which should be oriented just like I'm going to have it here. I will put it right here. Okay. I just arbitrarily kind of put it here. This way, this leg will have this entire column here that I can plug into to collect to the emitter. This base would have all these, and my collector would have these pins here. Okay, so that's where I put mine. Then we'll take the 470 ohm resistor, and we'll connect one end to the base. The other end's going to go to port 13 on the Arduino. And port 13, let's see, where is that located? Right, looks like it is right here. Okay, so you can count. I mean, this says 8, so this one has to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's this one right here, the third one in from the left. So grab my resistor, the 470. So the colors on that should be yellow, violet, brown, and gold. And what I'll do is I'll take one end and put it into 13, and the other end. So I just did this on the schematic. I did that to 13. I'm going to take the other end now and go to the base of the transistor, which is the middle. So I will wrap that around. And now I have it going to the base. Okay. And I have that crossed off in my diagram. Now I'll connect the emitter to ground. So get a jumper wire. All right, on the board it's emitter. The base is middle. This one's the collector. So we want the emitter. Stick it into the column of the emitter. And the other end's going to go to ground. Let's see, where is it ground? There's one right here. So it's V in, and then this is ground and ground. So V in, and either this one then or this one is ground. So it's V in, ground, ground. So I'll just pick this second one in. That's a ground. Cross it off on my diagram. And then for the LED, I'm going to start with a regular LED. I'm going to use a red one. And I'm going to put it in so that my negative leg, so the short leg, I'm going to put it in so that is in this hole and this hole. Okay, so this is the negative or short leg right here. And that way I can attach to it using these holes. This will be my positive leg, my longer leg. And this, I'm going to connect up to it using one of those holes. So let's go ahead and connect this. So the positive side of the LED, we're going to take to 5 volts. Okay, so grab yourself a jumper wire. This is the positive side of the LED, so any one of these 4 holes here will do. And the other end will go to 5 volts. I can see a 5 volt right here. It's, yep. All right, cross that off on our diagram. Let's take the negative of the LED, well, that's there. That has to connect to a 39 ohm resistor. So we'll grab the 39 ohm resistor, which should also be in the remote jammer bag. Colors would be orange, white, brown, and gold. Or I'm sorry, orange, white, black, and gold. 39 ohms. And we'll take one end of the resistor then and connect it to the negative of the LED. So here's the negative of the LED. One end will go to negative. Any one of those 4 holes in that column would do, but I just picked that one. And then the other end, so I just did this. I connected to the negative of the LED with that end of the resistor. The other end of the resistor then has to go to the collector. If I look on my transistor, let's get it so the flat's facing us here. If I look at the transistor, the legs are E, and then the middle's B, and the one on the right here is C. So this end of the resistor has to go to that C column. So any one of these 4 holes will do. Okay, and then I will cross that off on the diagram. And then that should be it. Okay. And once we verified that this LED blinks after we download the program in there to make it blink, after we verified that the circuit is correct, then what we'll do is we'll swap out for our infrared LED and go from there. Okay.